The Elgin Police Department is dedicated to working in partnership with the community to promote safety and enhance the quality of life by serving with professionalism, encouraging open communication, and embracing diversity.
Engaged.
Partnering with our citizens and involved in our community.
Progressive.
Embracing innovative strategies while maintaining proven practices.
Dedicated.
Serving with integrity and professionalism. Elgin became an incorporated city in 1854 and installed its first police marshal, George W. Renwick. Over the years, the title of the head law enforcement officer changed from marshal to chief. And although the role has expanded, one duty has remained consistent: to ensure law and order for the citizens of Elgin.
It's time now for Fridays with the Finest, featuring Elgin's current police chief, Anna Lally, on Elgin's hometown radio station since 1949, WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Hey, and good morning, everybody. This is Dean DeLaley. I'm going to be here today for Fridays with the Finest. Ordinarily, Chief Anna Lally would be here right in the studio, answering questions and telling everybody what's going on for the week. But we got a little change in the lineup. We're going to have our public information officer, Hector Gutierrez. He's going to start out with a few words, and then from there, we also have Detective Chris Hall, new detective to the cold case program. And then we're also going to have Detective Andrew Houghton going to be joining us very soon. And we're going to be talking about Somebody Knows Something, which, just by the way, if you're playing the home game, that Somebody Knows Something, which is, quite a big deal. It is the top 10% of podcasts across all the platforms. So, with anything beyond that, we're going to talk a few more things, but let's get right to our sub-hosts, we'll call it, for nothing better else. And how about it, Officer Gutierrez?
Good morning.
How's your day today?
It's been great. It's a beautiful. It looks like it's gonna be a sunny day, so hopefully we get some good weather here.
Humidity has gone away a little bit. I think we're going to have a good day.
Yes, and so a few things I want to talk about is, I want to give a big thank you to the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, the CPAAA. They hosted their annual cookout for the entire police department. They do a great job. They served up delicious barbecue food in our back lot and fed all the officers. They even came back for the night shift patrol officers as well, with the partnership of Nick's Pizza, and they provided pizza for them as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of nice things on all of the social media pages, even first day of school and everything else. Yep. I mean, it's amazing the involvement that each one of you officers have, and I feel the passion that you have to even want to be there.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So, and in regards to the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, people ask me, well, how do I become part of that? And it's simple. The Elgin Police Department hosts Citizen Police Academies throughout the year. If you join one of those academies and you graduate, then you can become part of the Alumni Association.
Oh, perfect.
And again,
and how would they give the information on how to get to that one more time?
Yep. So Citizens Police Academy, whenever you see a Citizens Police Academy class opening up throughout the year, Christy Schmidt is the contact person for that. And once you complete the Citizens Police Academy, then you can be part of the association, which it's a great organization, great citizens in the community. I mean, some of the things they do, like I said, they do the annual cookout for the police officers. They also do many, many things in the community. One of the things I know that they do as well is they help out with the rope program. They actually donate money for kids to attend the rope program.
Excellent.
So that's awesome. And, Christy Smith, obviously doing a great job always at the police department. Another thing, too, is like you said, our officers are joining a lot of back-to-school parties, different schools. So if you see us out there with the ice cream cart, that's going to be a big hit, in these parties again. So stop by, say hi. Most of the schools are coming up with their either open house concept of back to school or just a field day for the kiddos.
Right. And if you go into them, like I say, those social media pages, you see the reception from the officers are being received by the children as well. And I know you're giving out stickers and little booklets and what have you. So it's a nice event. It gets
Yes.
them to be comfortable again to run to the police when there's a problem instead of everybody, oh no, police, they're not there to help you. The police are there to help you.
Yes, and I think that's important to mention that, we feel the same way. We like it when kids approach us and not fear of the police, right? But it doesn't help once in a while of experience, parents where I don't know if this happened to you, Detective Hall, but sometimes the parent tells the kid, "Oh, here's the police. They're gonna
Yeah.
arrest you or they're gonna take you," and sometimes you have to take that parent to the side and explain to them like, hey, don't do that because that's gonna create a fear on the kiddo
Exactly.
that you don't wanna them to grow with that fear. So you do have to educate the parents sometimes and in that regards. Since we were talking about school and everything, I do want to give out. I mean, I'm gonna be posting this on social media soon here in the next few days, but just some safety tips for internet for the students. So if you're a parent listening, make sure you pass this information along to your students, and if you're a student listening, make sure you pay attention to this. So keep personal information private. Do not share your name, full address, school name, phone number online because you don't know who you're sharing it to. There's a lot of fake accounts. There's a lot of people that use fake names online, and you might be talking to someone else that you're not intended. Also, be careful with photos and videos that you share on social media. Only share photos or videos with your parents' permissions. Once you submit something online, you can never take it back, or it's very hard to take it back. And enjoy the internet safely. The internet can be a great place to explore, learn, and follow safety rules. Be smart, be careful, and respect everybody in the internet and respect the time that you go online as well. We have a lot of situations where we encounter cyberbullying when people are using the internet, social media to essentially talk bad about one another. That's actually another safety tip. Avoid that. If you are experiencing cyberbullying, tell somebody, or just disengage that person from social media overall.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the safety tips for the week for school. Obviously, Detective Howden is going to be talking about the cold case unit and the cases that they are digging into. And as far as you were telling me about a website that you guys are.
Yeah. So season 2 of Somebody Knows Something is full steam ahead here. Kind of in conjunction with that, we have just launched our dedicated website for the cold case unit, and it's elgincoldcases.com. That's separate from the transparency website, which does have our information plugged into it, but we now have a dedicated website solely for the Elgin Police Department's cold cases. There's an interactive map going all the way back to our first homicide of 1971, going all the way up to the 2020s. So every single case that we will be investigating here at the cold case unit is live. There's information, there's all the applicable links to learn more about the unit, learn more about myself, my partner Andrew Houghton, about the cases that we have. So again, that website is elgincoldcases.com.
And
Cases with an S.
cases with an S.
Yes.
Is there through the website? Is there a place also where community can go out there and give tips? Or,
Yep,
or get in
all that
contact
stuff
with
is
you guys?
there. If you want to file tips anonymously, if you want to give the full information, obviously all that information, those links are there. It's a very self-sufficient website. It's very user-friendly, and yeah, all the applicable links that would be on the transparency website are on our new website, which is live now. So, yeah.
And one thing I do want to add, it's no secret I'm Italian. Did you guys know that? Yeah, I'm Italian. And they always say, like, Italian, that's why I'm Catholic. I can't be Jehovah's Witness because I make a bad witness. And I never saw nothing. I didn't see this. I didn't see that. Sometimes you think that's cool when you're with your teenage friends and stuff. Hey, guys, what just happened over here? Someone just got beat up or something happened. Make that anonymous call then. If you don't want to be the guy to stand up to say what's right, make that call. It's not a tough guy to keep it a secret. The old days of, snitches get stitches. It's always funny that nobody wants to say nothing or see anything until it's one of their family members.
Absolutely.
But if they understand, and as they get older, they will, the relief they give families, I mean, they're gone. The person's gone, and that's a shame. Okay, we pray for each and every one of them that have passed. But the idea is it gives a family closure so that they know, okay, I don't like what happened. This is what happened. We're going to move on.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, please, don't be scared to talk to these officers. The reason I brought up what I've been seeing on the social media, you've got a group of officers here in Elgin that if you can't reach out and talk to any one of them, you can't talk to nobody. And they are your friends. Believe me, they are your friends. And we're getting joined now by Detective Andrew Houghton. How you doing?
Hello, how you doing?
Nice to see you. But folks, I can't stress that enough. Make that call, make the phone call. Whoever you are comfortable making the call, tell your parents, let them make the call. This is how cases are solved. And there's so many from 1971 to the 2020s. And it's amazing in law enforcement. You could be talking to someone that maybe knows something about, let's just say, case number 4, but it somehow bleeds into number 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So crime has a way of kind of staying in its own little circle.
I will say, everybody says it's a small world. It really is. And
Isn't it?
as we read these cases, we see these correlations with like, wow, that's exactly the same place where our victim from this other case worked, or they know family members from this case, and it's pretty eye opening. But
The smallest tip. We offer everybody here. Anybody has a tip, when the officers are on here, they talk about the show. As each episode comes out, you call our studio, 847-931-1410. You can call the police department. What's the number they can call for you, Detective?
It's 847-289-COLD, C-O-L-D,
Oh, neat.
2653.
Okay,
And
great.
if you're out and about on the street, just you can approach any officer, let them know that you have some information. You can be anonymous. Just come to the police department. That's another way to do it as well. One thing I remember for many years, we say at the police department, there's only about 200 of us, right, police officers
Yeah.
in Elgin, but there's thousands in the community of eyes that are out there and watching, right? So help us be the eyes in the community, and then we can bring justice to
Yeah,
this.
bring the community that helps. This is the community. We all work as one. This is how things happen.
I just
But
want to
go ahead.
interrupt again, but these cases too, it doesn't just affect the families. The more we talk to the people that are involved, these cases, these losses have devastating community effects as well, far-reaching effects. People that still remember that they were, even if they weren't directly affected, they were indirectly affected by the loss. It was a
Right.
classmate of mine. It was a friend of mine. It was a neighbor of mine. So it's just, this isn't just the family, feeling the loss. It's a community feeling the loss. So we're all in this together. We're all on the same team, and I really want to hit that home. So
Man, that's a great point. And
Yeah.
you're starting season number 2. How about that, huh, Detective? I mean, you had the pleasure, Detective Houghton, of having your first case and being able to solve that case.
Mhm.
I mean, what a feeling.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, obviously, you go into anything kind of cautiously optimistic. You try to talk to the family, get people involved. But I think what we learned through the first season was that involving the family was really important. And I think it made them feel heard. It made them feel seen, something that they hadn't felt in the past. And as we've gone through these, 6 cases for the 70s, a lot of the families echo the same thing. We had a woman tell us that the fact that the chief created this unit, the fact that we're looking at a case that her family member was involved in, gives her hope. It's something that she hasn't had in 30, 40 years on some of these cases, and we owe the families just that attempt to try to do something, to at least look, and that they feel like even if we don't get an answer, they feel respected by the fact that we're looking and that we're
that's
trying.
just it. Your approach, I have privy to them because we produce the podcast. But the point is listening to you gentlemen speak to the victims' loved ones and what have you. I mean, I work for a law firm as well, and they call you a counselor. Most of what you do is being a counselor. Yeah, there's law enforcement. Yeah, there's going out making a pinch. But the fact that you're able to connect with somebody, have a conversation, listen to what they're saying, not just be the one talking
Yeah.
like me, but you want to be the one to listen to what they have to say, and the compassion and understanding that you and now Sergeant Vartanian. I mean, really, really commendable to you. And Chris, I can call you Chris, Detective Chris. I think you're going to be equally as well to the unit.
Yeah, I think one thing people have to remember is we have met with friends and family on all these 6 cases. A lot of the times they don't want their voices used in the episodes because it is a very emotional conversation that we have with them about the case.
Right.
So they're happy to talk with us, give us a whole bunch of background on the victim because we want to humanize those victims. We will have some episodes this season where family members will actually come on and talk with us. We have other ones where they met with us, but they just don't want to be recorded for that because it's very emotional. It's raw for them to do that. But we still appreciate them coming in and doing that for us because they give us a lot of insight into who these people were because they knew them. We didn't know them.
Not
yet.
at all, right? And that's a lot of years ago. You're talking 1970s. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Well, do you have any particular cases? I know you're working 5 at one time. Is that what I
We have
understand?
Six
Six.
for the 70s. 5 of them are homicides, and one of them is a missing person.
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of work.
That's just one decade.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys, looking at every case? Are you guys taking, 1 and 2 cases in particular that you guys are looking at first?
So we've gone through all 6 of these cases kind of in depth to produce the episodes, meeting with families, updating the case file, stuff like that. It's not as intensive as with Karen's case, just because we were working that case pretty much full time and only that case. But some of these cases, there's not a lot of information in them in terms of like forensic evidence. So we felt like putting out statements, putting out information, if we were to get a tip that helped us move that case forward, we would certainly spend a lot more time on that specific case. So it's kind of taking a whole approach with those 6 cases and saying, hey, here's information about these cases. We need more tips on these cases. There is information that we never gave out publicly that we feel like we can give out now that may generate tips. And so we're putting those cases out there as we're working some other cases in the background too.
Just before you got here, Detective Hall was talking about the website too that newly created. So hopefully that's another outlet where people can communicate with you guys and the police department in general and provide information.
Yeah.
Hopefully that brings, that website reaches more audience, the community. So
Yeah, see pictures of the victims, read a little bit about their stories, how to reach out to us. Because the whole point is the podcast's point is to get more people looking at the website, more people looking at our cases. It's just a cycle. If we go on the radio or we go on media, we're trying to get people to go listen to the podcast and go back to the website. That's what we're trying to do. And every time we go on media, more people go to the website, more people listen to the podcast, and it just kind of cycles back through. But the more eyes we can get on these cases, the better chance we have that someone has some sort of information that they can give us.
And you've got how long have you been on the job now?
It'll be almost 19 years.
Yourself?
Just over 9 years.
13 years.
13 years. So you guys have some stability, or you have some, roots into the community, into the police. But I'm certain that you also talk to the officers that are maybe getting ready to retire, and you're going to try and interview them. Hey, look, what do you remember about this time? What was going on? What was the trend? What was the politics? As corny as that sounds, that makes a difference too.
Yeah.
Were the people in unrest? Were things, going well? Were they not going well? And I remember, and I'm not going to dwell on your last case, which, believe me, I'd love to praise you each and every moment, but it was how lucky, or if you want to call it luck, a blessing, maybe more than anything, the one lead you were following up, they were getting ready to move that day, and they still had a letter or something.
Yeah. Yep.
What is the chances?
Yeah, I
of
think
something
sometimes
like
the
that?
stars
That's
just kind of
working a
align.
case. But
It's
that's
kind of
working a
crazy.
case.
Even this case that our episode that'll come out on Monday about Maynard Holly, who was murdered over at where Jim's Towing is located now. It used to be called the Yellow Cab Company. We had a hard time tracking down a lot of his family because the Holly side of the family, most of those people have died.
Yeah.
And we went out to Jim's Towing. We met with the owner, Robert, who was nice enough to let us come and see the business. He talked about when he bought it and when he moved in 1980, what it looked like, things like that. And he said, hey, just kind of an odd coincidence. One of the guys that comes over here and drops stuff off for me all the time is Maynard's nephew. He's going to be here in like 5 minutes if you guys want to meet him.
As
And we
a-
said, yeah, we would like to do that because we've not had a chance to meet with the family. We've been trying to do that.
Sure.
And so, kind of once again, just coincidence, luck, whatever you want to call it, kind of shined on us that, hey, here's this person that was related to Maynard. And then that helped us meet with multiple family members just because we happened to be there. And the guy said, hey, I know his nephew.
Yeah, the nephew brings you
And
to
the
the
nephew was-
mother, to the this.
Yeah, and the
to
nephew
that,
was dropping
right?
something off 5 minutes later. It just happened to be
It's
coming
a-
that day,
It's a whole nother full-time job just trying to track people down.
Oh,
and
sure.
everyone's dispersed across the country. People have passed on, and just doing that alone is enough work. So it's in addition to the investigation.
And I'm sure this is a, complete department initiative. But basically, it's you two gentlemen that handle
Yep.
99% of the work. If you need something checked out, maybe, hey, could you guys go, you send a beat officer to maybe go check this out, check that
Yep.
out. But basically, all of the follow-up, all of the
Yeah.
looking into, you're talking two guys.
We just put out a letter, so we're going to add a third person sometime in the next, probably by the end of the year. So
Nice.
we will have a third detective with us, and then the hope is to have a sergeant. So we'll have kind of a standalone unit, and that should kind of put us where we want to be long term.
That's excellent.
That's one of the things when we talk about the website that I'm thinking about is like you were saying, how if people start looking at the pictures, people start looking at maybe different information that you guys provide through the website, that might ring a bell. And it happens to everybody all the time, right? When you might not be certain or you might not remember a certain thing, but you see a picture or you see maybe a word or a sentence on something that you're reading and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
I remember that. That triggers something. So hopefully that website creates that that type of stipulation to people to remember to and bring stuff up. Another thing too is, it's one, I guess, a question that I have for you guys. Do you guys, when you guys go home, you're investigating these cold cases, right? And you're probably in your head, tons of information is coming through. When you're at home, we hope that, I hope that you guys go home and relax and
Yeah.
be with your families. But do you sit at home and are watching TV, or maybe going to bed, and do you like sometimes come up with things like, "Ooh, maybe I should do this," or maybe I should.
I think so. I mean, I know with season 1, Matt and I were texting a lot outside of work. I know Chris and I are texting a lot
Constantly.
at 10, 11 o'clock at night, like, hey, I just was going through this, especially if we're working different hours.
Right.
There's days where he's working till 11 p.m. and I work 9 to 5, and at 10 o'clock he's texting me like, hey, I just went over this, and I'm like, okay, we're kind of going back and forth. So, I mean, I think they're just different types of cases, and especially when you're only looking at a small subset of cases, you kind of take those cases home with you a little bit more than when you have 25 cases on your desk at one time.
I know if like a thought comes to mind or an idea pops through my head, I'm like, I'm not gonna table this till tomorrow because I might forget it. So I'll just
Yeah.
text him. At least I put it on paper. There's a receipt like, hey, I had this idea. We'll circle back to it if it's not viable or maybe if it is viable. But yeah, I try to have
police
enough
work
bias.
is not 9 to 5.
Right,
And
yeah.
you, I don't know if you want to call it audition, but you put in an application to Chief Lally to say, look, this is what I want to do. And when you said this is what I want to do, here's what comes along with it. That 10 o'clock call, maybe 1 in the morning. You know what, we didn't look. What about this, that, or the other thing? And those are the important pieces. And I think
Sometimes
that's
it's
very important.
messaging our victims' families and stuff too. Like we still are trying to be very cognizant of the fact that if we're going to be on, local media or regional media, that we let the families know, like, hey, we're going to be on this day at this time to talk about your daughter, your son, your brother, whatever's case, because we want to keep them happy with what we're doing, and we want to make
Right.
sure that they understand when we're doing stuff.
And maybe they don't want to hear it on the
Yeah,
air. Maybe they don't want someone to call in and
Yeah,
say something.
I would hate
totally
for some
off
family member
color.
to flip
Sure.
on the TV and see us talking about their daughter's case.
Yeah.
If they don't want it, we'd rather let them know that in advance, right? And again, we've been really, lucky that the media's been great with us in terms of not reaching out to our victims. They've contacted us first because we have family members that just are not interested in doing that. They're happy to meet with us and go through stuff, but they don't want to talk to, a local affiliate about their daughter's case or their brother's case. They just don't want to do that. So
You have a lot of transparency from what I've seen in the city of Elgin. Maybe you see people complaining about, I don't know, they're still panhandling in the streets. Boy, how's that working out? Okay, I saw that post too. But you can't be everywhere. There's other calls that you have to be on. When you see somebody, you shoot them. This is something completely different. This is stuff that, you know, you're focused on, and you have to make sure that you get all that information that you can. It's a big community.
Yeah.
It's 198. I think I checked it out last. 189 years old, city of Elgin, and it's got a lot of history here. I would imagine the local history museum is going to be helpful to you
Yep.
for pictures and what have you, because they're very, very cooperative.
Yeah, the History
For the
Museum,
Ashford
the Gilboard Library,
Yeah.
we've gotten a lot of stuff from
Gilboard
both of those
Library, sure.
entities. You know,
So it's everybody working together, which is going to make this successful, continued success. Because I believe that you gentlemen, with watching the tenacity you have and the just the passion you have for wanting to cure and find these cases, I think you're gonna get all these taken care of.
I think that the issue with these cases is they're so old that if we don't start looking at them now, all the family members of these people are going to be dead. The suspects in these cases are going to be dead, and you're never going to be able to close those cases. So there is a little bit of a sense of urgency of, hey, we should be doing something with these cases. And I think that's what the chief kind of felt when she decided that we need to, make this decision that we're going to allocate resources and funding and people to this type of case, because I know she's met with a number of the different victims' families as well, because they want to meet with her. And they expressed to her and they expressed to us that they're just happy that someone is going back and looking at these cases, because they kind of felt like people forgot about them, or
Yeah.
people forgot about the victims in these cases. And if we don't look at them now, what are we doing? I mean, there's just nothing. There's nothing else we can do if we're just going to sit and let those sit on a shelf.
Right.
So it's really important that we give those families that look while they're still here to maybe get some sort of resolution for them.
Yep, it shows that we care. It shows that we do have respect, and obviously, I mean, I can, many situations, right? You put yourselves in the victim's shoes or the families, right? And yeah, I mean, if it was somebody that it was close to me or a friend, I would be happy that somebody was taking a second look at the case and maybe finding something new. So I think it's a great new cold case unit. It's a new program, and I agree with Dean. I think you guys can do great. I mean, I've known you guys for many years, and I think you guys are dedicated to the department and to when it comes to investigations. Some people have it, some people don't, and I think you both are pretty good, including Sergeant Vartanian now. So hopefully we'll see him back in the unit maybe.
And I think that the perfect name, somebody knows something. Somebody always knows something, Even it was, there you are, you're over at the old cab stand, which is now the mechanic shop, I think you said. And the nephew just happened to be coming by, and then he was able to turn you on to, other family members. You can get information. So, yeah, I believe me. And then this is not about awards, but I believe you guys are up for some type of an award. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah,
We
Matt
have
and I
about a
were
minute
nominated
left.
by an entity called the Law and Crime Network. I think it's Dan Abrams, used to work for ABC. They started a network that just covers live crime stuff. They do live trials, things like that. We had never heard of them, and they reached out to us maybe a month ago and said that they host a thing called the Clue Awards at CrimeCon, which is the largest true crime podcast festival in the world. It's in Denver this year, and so that news group goes through all the news stories for the year, and they select 3 people or 3 groups of people for America's Greatest Detective based on these different stories. And so they contacted Matt and I and said that they had voted that we were one of the 3 finalists for their award this year, along with a detective in California who worked on a case, and then a detective or a state police guy down in the South, I think it was in Florida, that worked on a case. So the 3 of us, I guess the 4 of us, myself and Matt, and these other 2 people, will be in Denver in September. We'll do like a panel discussion about our different cases, and then there'll be an award ceremony. We'll find out if we win or not.
Well, I tell you what, it's well deserved. Congratulations on that.
Yes.
I see a victory on that. And you know what?
Yeah, we'll
Being
see.
nominated is to me,
That's a win right there.
right? It's
a win.
acknowledgement enough.
I think, again, like the nomination just helps us get more media attention to our unit and to our cases. And that's all it is driving it back to that.
And don't forget that new website that we have out there. It's called ElginColdCases.com. And then that phone number.
847-289-COLD, or our email is coldcasetips@elginil.gov.
This is great. I appreciate you gentlemen being here. Our
Thank you.
a public information officer, Hector Gutierrez. We have Detective Chris Hall, Detective Andrew Houghton. And this was about somebody knows something and really just what's going on in the Elgin community. Do your part, everybody. Support your local police. They're here to help you. God bless everyone.